here we are, finally able to get into game number 3. And for this one, we're going to have to move back to our game 1 draft, which was one that we looked at on the side of Hanwha Life, and we're like, you could have made a lot of good decisions here, but you decided to make no good decisions here, and then you lost the game. And that was how it played out.
Well, it does seem
Oh, here we are. Here's the change.
There it is.
Nailed it.
The Jace has been banned away now. And so Gen.G, we'll see if they continue with the LeBlanc and Zoe combo going on.
Yep, and that will be it.
All right, now,
fun fact, Lava
Life
hasn't played Zoe once in the LCK. I believe that's because it's mostly been banned or picked away from him every single time.
Here we go. Ezreal should get hit here.
Find the Tom Kench button. I reckon find the Tom Kench button.
To give away the Lissandra, in which case they could get Ezreal, potentially.
That is true. Ezreal is going to be the ban, though, so exactly right. Taken off the board. Lucian is still up, guys, and that is a big deal.
Silas.
Oh, no. Well, Rise is still up as well, and Rise has been something that's been banned in the last 2 games consistently.
Lissandra specifically, but maybe they're having some frustration. There you go, though.
Yeah, here we go. It's my turn to get one right.
There you go. So now Hanwha Life should just ban the Lissandra.
Yep. Good old Lissandra needs to be taken away.
Here we go.
Come on, find that Lissandra button. We got 10 seconds. If you click the little mid icon at the top of your screen, Hanwha Life, you'll be able to... Oh, never mind. We're going to be respecting rulers Lucian, which is certainly... That is the set piece ban to come in here. And the first pick is going to go immediately to the Vladimir. Theoretically can be flexed into multiple different positions, but it's not likely that you're going to have Ruler playing it because this guy is definitely your 80 carry player. Silas being looked at now on the side of Hanwha, and they did just make it work in the hands of Lava. It wasn't Silas that won them the game, though. It was the Zac.
Yeah.
But blind picking the Zac is not something that's all that easy because you pick the Zac into the Tahm Kench. That is generally what you do. It denies all of that value that you get out of the Devour. So probably going to want to wait and pick that one up as the 3rd pickup in the first round of the draft, or if things have gone through in the later stages.
And so right now, Gen.G is in an interesting situation where they might still be able to get the Lissandra and then go with a very powerful physical damage jungler, whether it be J4 or Rek'Sai.
All right, and
Kalista.
Now, I actually love this, right? Because now Hanwha are almost guaranteed to get either Galio or Thresh.
Yes.
To pair with this Kalista. And so it's almost a guarantee. So if I was Gen.G, I'd probably just try and lock in a powerful bottom lane, and they can do that. They can lock in Life's Gragas, which has been fantastic. Mostly in isolated situations, but definitely is one of his best. But every single time we see this bottom lane, it's able to get things done far earlier than any other Kai'Sa lane. So I'm really happy to see this out of Gen.G.
Now Hanwha Life can definitely just respond here with Galio or Thresh. That would be the most standard procedure.
Well, Silas Kalista already being locked in here, and I just think the Galio or Thresh. I mean, you just got to pick which one. Instead, they're thinking about the Lissandra.
Okay, and now what they're saying is that if you want to allocate 2 bans to the Galio Thresh, you are welcome to do so, as Tahm Kench does still exist.
He does, so I guess you can theoretically go Tahm Kench Kalista, which does have some synergies. Chase after, get them Devours happening at the right times, and save your Tahm Kench if he gets out of the way. Devour into Fate's Call is certainly a way to keep everyone safe, as Fly's champion pool is getting attacked. At this point in time, he could already have his champion locked in here in the Vladimir, but likely going into the hands of Roach, as top lane Vlad has certainly been flavor of the month as far as Vladimir's positioning. I think that's mostly because Griffin hasn't played this week.
There's the Galio banned away. Probably going to see a Thresh accompanied with it.
Yeah, and I actually think it's really smart, right? Like, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be denying the obvious duo lane, and Keith's Thresh is actually very strong as well, so just getting rid of a power pick for the guy makes a lot of sense.
And while I have one more ban to go, and it ends up being the Lulu, so maybe expecting that Gen.G would try to put all their eggs into the Kai'Sa basket, accompanied with the Vladimir.
The other thing I like about this is that they're bridging champions as well, right? Lulu and Karma are pretty good at just wave clearing in mid and allowing your jungler to have a little bit more of that priority. Thresh is going to be banned, as we noted earlier on, as now we're looking for a lane matchup towards the top side of the map most likely, as Kennen is being hovered at the moment. Vladimir versus Kennen is not one that I definitely look at and think that Kennen's going to win, so instead they're just going to lock away their jungler, and the Lee Sin has been picked up. And now, Peanut could flex that Gragas into the jungle, and we could see something like a Tahm Kench come in here if they want to deny that one away even further. Sejuani's being looked at now for Peanut.
And they are going to lock it in. And the Sejuani did not look super comfortable for Peanut. He definitely held on to his R in some engagements in game number 1, so we'll have to see if that's different in game 2 here. Hovering the Lissandra, or hovering the Aurelia, who might be going to
lock it in. I actually really love this. That means that Fly's going to be on the Vladimir most likely. I don't like Fly's Aurelia all that much, and I think that Aurelia fits on the top side of the map a little bit better. We saw it yesterday into the Jax in the mid lane, which was a very weird matchup.
Yeah.
But I think now with the changes, I think the top lane is where she certainly works out. We'll be up against the Sylas most likely, as Tal's going to be manning that one, as the Braum is being considered for the final pickup and locked in for Hanwha.
Now 50 seconds until the game ends up starting. And it looks like they will put Fly on the Aurelia. And Roach up in top lane.
Okay, well, this is where the warning bells do come out, right? Because often you talk about Aurelia, you're like, yeah, mid lane, that's totally fine, things like that. But Fly, last time we saw his Aurelia, it was extraordinarily passive and basically just slowly lost the lane until they lost the game.
Yep.
You know, that was how he played that one out, and there we're going to get the last-minute switcheroo. This is what I wanted to see out of Gen G, and this makes things really spicy as we move into this match. So it will be that last-minute switchover. We're going to have the Vladimir that fits Fly's current playstyle extraordinarily well. Because if you just sit back in a lane and wave clear as a Vladimir, you're going to be hyper-relevant as you move into the later stages. So we'll still need to play out the flanks very nicely to get the Hemo Plagues in the right positions, but otherwise, this looks really nice, and the Gragas can cause a huge ruckus in these team fights when paired with the Sejuani. I think as far as a team composition on the whole, this feels good for Gen G.
Yeah. Kai'Sa, Gragas, Vladimir, Sejuani, and Aurelia. Very explosive engages. Very powerful first item, but a little bit of recipe components will be on the side of Vlad and Aurelia as they move forward to their first core item. So on the flip side, though, Sylas, Lee Sin, Lissandra, Kalista, and Braum, also an engaged composition, but it has a second mode. And this mode is able to kite backwards, use the Braum defensively, Lissandra defensively, Kalista kiting backwards. Has a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah, and I like multifaceted compositions. I've spoken about it a lot of times, so I like what Hanwha have put together. More flexibility means more avenues for victory, which is exactly what you want, whereas Gen G have just played to their playstyle. Let's see if it works in Game 3. Okay, and as we get out onto the Rift, we'll have to find out exactly how Gen G are going to pilot this early game, because that's where things could potentially be a problem. Still waiting to scale up on the Vladimir, to scale up on the Kai'Sa, and this is why Life's Gragas is so important, because Gragas in the early game can do some real surprising things. I think we can look back to Kingzone versus Griffin in the first round robin. Yes, that was a 2-0 for Griffin, but Kingzone managed to get first blood in about 2.5 minutes with a very fantastic body slam flash. Coming out from Tucson's Gragas, Life can certainly do the same thing. He's picked up basically solo kills on his support Gragas in the past in this particular season. So excited to see what they're going to be able to get done. As you can see, 3-1 is going to be that scoreline for the Gragas in the hands of Life.
Or it looks like a potential invade is on the agenda right now for Hanwha Life, as everyone on the side of Gen G knows what's going on right now.
Yep, definitely. And also, I just like it because Braum's such a good early invade champion, so trying to use that advantage is certainly what you want to do. Not going to be spotted over any vision as they walk back to lane, but their direction for entering is going to give away that bottom side of the map is occupied by Bono.
And Lee Sin now making his way over to the Krugs as the second camp of choice. So maybe with the wave pushing in, they might be trying to think that they could do something to Ruler in Life. However, I'm thinking that that's not going to be on the agenda, as Songyun is attacking all of the minions as fast as possible. And so when you do this, when your jungler's in this close of proximity, had Songyun conceded the level 2 and let the wave come in, Lee Sin would be able to come in from behind, but then Life and Ruler are level 2, you guys are level 1, and so that's the trade-off that you ask yourselves about. But now, Lee Sin makes his way over to the Scuttle Crab, and then he'll transition into a full clear.
Yeah, so vertical jungling to come in from both junglers. And looks like there was a little bit of denial going on with the Krug camp on the bottom side of the map, so that's the standard stuff that you see. Bono not looking to make another return visit down there. As Peanut's going to be pretty late heading over to this red buff, as he does get a ward over, and now he's looking for some sort of potential steal. Arctic Assault is going to get him to safety, but it means that Bono could be in the right position to get himself a 3 buff. Yeah. Peanut instead is going to go for this lane that Tal is occupying. Can he actually find any joy? And the answer that he thinks he's seen is no.
And what is causing this to happen, or what is allowing this, is that Bono forwent eating the Wraith camp, or the Raptor camp, and elected to just go simply for the Scuttle Crab, and then due to Lissandra's temporary priority in mid, beeline straight to the red. Because the top and mid laners are able to hold the opponents on Gen G's side, Peanut ends up having to concede everything. Now he does have a Raptor camp to eat, but he's very far behind right now in terms of experience.
This could certainly be a problem, and won't have any access to a red buff to assist any of these ganks either, as Lava is going to come over. I don't think he's spotted, but yep, Peanut pinged out very effectively, so his position on the map this time around is going to be well and truly known here by Hanwha Life, and we complimented Peanut on his way of playing around vision and his counter-gank positioning to stop Bono from being relevant at all in game number 1 on his Rek'Sai. This time around, though, the piggy has been spotted, and he's going to have to grab this pretty destroyed Krug camp on the bottom side of the map. As you can see, no joy there, so just struggling to find any source of experience in his own jungle. Bono really causing some problems.
Look at the jungler item difference as well. Double longsword as Peanut. He is running around without anything to do, and this is a byproduct of not covering all your bases with how you elected to open the game relative to your laners. This isn't just Bono destroying Peanut straight up. This is Bono recognizing my mid had priority, my top has priority, I can do this route, and if Peanut tries to go for the vertical jungle and handshake on it, he falls behind. Peanut doesn't factor in the mid and top lane state, tries to go into a red buff, ends up getting punished because he didn't play around all angles.
And also, he doesn't play around the fact that that Krug camp was relatively denied, and that's not going to respawn in time, so he was wasting so much time happy feeding on the bottom side of the map. It's going to give Bono this free Ocean Drake, and the earlier you get these Oceans, the higher the value is. He's going to cycle that over to the next one, and we knew that Hanwha was going to have an advantage here in this early game, and it was how they were going to play around it. Genji, of course, understanding that that is the case. Peanut, pretty good at welfare jungling just in general, so he's going to be okay as he tries to keep himself relevant until this Infernal Drake is going to spawn.
At 10 minutes. And at 10 minutes, that's not really yet the point where the Aurelia or the Vladimir is looking to skirmish, but the utility in natural base scaling for the Sylas and the Lissandra is definitely going to be online. And you think about, well, a Kalista is going to have more access to her recipe items than a Kaisa is, and so the stars are really aligning, and RNG is also in the favor of Hanwha Life, as Bono was very fortunate. He rolled a Scuttle Crab on the right-hand side when he was there, so that's a very skilled talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Good players crit more is something that we've known for many, many years in League of Legends. Is Live takes a drink, but he might need more than that now as 4 members of Hanwha looking for a dive, but Genji, deal with the mini wave, things are going to be okay. Ward over this wall, hyper valuable.
Man. And they're trying to convert this pressure into a potential steal onto the red buff, but it doesn't look like that is on the menu for them.
Yep.
Very interesting that Bono committed a control ward knowing that, well, if they're not going to eat the camp itself, it's just going to
die
go. Yeah, it's just going to die immediately. You're giving away 75 gold, so you just removed a camp from yourself. Oh, no.
And Live can actually... Oh, doesn't go for the flash here as Tides of Blood comes down. Key stands behind Bono. Best friends when it comes to staying together on Bono and Key's side, so they do make it out, but that will be red buff going over to Peanut. Good stun lands here, as Roach does have another Blade Surge available to him with that reset, but not going to happen as Bono makes a return visit. They just wrap around, make their way in, and Gen G didn't guarantee this camp. Oh, Peanut going to steal that one away and doesn't even have to flash. That was really nicely done, and they decide not to turn on him.
Yeah, and that was... It looked like maybe Hanwha was being very greedy with their smite there, maybe thinking that Peanut didn't have intention to try to come back in for it.
Yeah, that was really strange.
Yeah.
Roach is completely out of mana, but he's dealt with this entire minion wave. He's looking to go for a reset. He's going to head back home and grab his first buy. A gigantic CS advantage here for the Aurelia on the top side of the map. As Tal, we've spoken about Sylas, and we've tried to work out why people keep picking Sylas. It's not necessarily to try and win the lane. It's for the utility that being able to steal whichever ultimate you want does provide you. It's Peanut waiting for this counter gang. As Bono comes in, they finally find out that the Piggy's here, and that means no joy for the Lee Sin.
Not a Piggy, it's a Poro.
Yes, sorry. Should be playing to the skin. Do you like the Russian bear skin? Because I like the fact that he's a bear as well.
Really?
Yeah, I just like the fact that he's a bear. I don't like the
Kuma
skin that much.
From,
yeah.
Kuma from Tekken?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
I think it's pretty cool, man.
Okay. Yeah, I've never entertained taming Kuma, but...
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool. All right. Okay. Why isn't there a panda?
Whoa, that's a good
point.
point.
That's a good chroma.
And that's also a really good next skin to come in next Lunar New Year as well.
Ooh.
There we go. Right, we are doing all your work for you on this broadcast. The Marvel partnership needs to come in, and then you can talk to us about the Lunar Revel skins that are going to come in next year. It's just it's basically free. It's just free.
I really like this. All right.
I really like what Roach has been able to do top side of the map. He's really dominating this lane. First plate is going to go down on the bottom side of the map, though, as Life and Ruler do follow a minion wave back up here. Going to be Ruler trying his very best to get some work done, but Sangyun's not exactly in position to offer Key a stand behind me opportunity. But Ruler's kept himself extraordinarily relevant. I mean, this CS gap is nowhere near what you can expect out of a Callista lane against the Kai'Sa, as Sangyun's going to jump back forward, try and lock down Life. But look at how comfortable he is on this Gragas, man. Like, this is the Life pickup. This is exactly how he wants to be playing League of Legends. Hop on his fat man and get the work done. It's exactly what he started to do.
Now, Bono up in top lane looking to clear out a ward and maybe try to apply some pressure relief in that lane, as Thal is not quite sure how to describe it whilst abiding by TOS, but he is getting very blown out.
Yeah.
He's down 20 CS and at 10 minutes. Rift Herald ends up being denied. We got a fight here. Yeah,
Sangyun is going to get knocked back with the explosive cask, and that is a huge deal as Ruler throws in the ultimate, but Sangyun, they have the vision here in this pit. Finally, it's going to go down. Ruler supercharges to get himself out of the way. Now Tal might have just delivered himself into death because the Vanguard's Edge comes in to follow up with the teleport. Blade Surge resets come in, and Ruler gets himself a kill. Life even able to keep himself alive for a really long time, and that's a great trade coming in for Gen G, and they'll even manage to take down Shelly.
And they're getting Shelly right now on the left-hand side of the map. Fly.
Oh no, disaster for Bono. That was going to be the saving grace for Hanwha.
Yeah.
If they could trade for the Infernal Drake after that,
that would have been fine.
That would have been absolutely fine. But now, denied, and Gen G get a free reset and a free Rift Herald after getting an advantageous trade bottom side of the map. So the gold says nothing, everything else says Gen G.
Yeah, right now we'll take another quick look at the replay here. As this all starts with Life initiating there with the body slam into the Gragas ultimate. Ruler getting in there right from behind Sangyun. It looked like maybe things were going to be okay, but then Life able to put an end to the Callista. Teleport came in from Thal, steals the Gragas ultimate. Doesn't matter. Really well played by Roach with the Vanguard's Edge. Managing to get onto the other side of Thal. And then Lava comes down here, Life. Some people might be wondering where he's going. He's just trying to draw them in the opposite direction of his teammates. And so he's actually doing his best job. And what we're seeing here in the live cam is it looks like Hanwha potentially looking for another fight.
They got a lot of sticks into this dragon as Peanut's going to come over. Does want to find the steal, doesn't get there, but does land the ultimate. Bono safeguards his way out again. Life just destroys the team fight. There's even a Hemo Plague. Key, is he going to go down? The answer is no, but that's another body slam. This guy is winning the game by himself on this Gragas. They steal a blue buff, but honestly, Life's stolen me hard at this point in time.
Well, Hanwha Life, they do pick up the Infernal Drake, but it comes at the cost of some members going down. Plates are still alive for a minute and a half here. And I really got to point out that one of the reasons that the game is as close as it is because of those plates in mid lane, where Lava has secured himself free. Now, obviously, Genji bouncing back here. They're going to be able to get all the plates on this bottom turret, so that's a massive pickup for Ruler and Peanut down here. They are sharing the gold as Key tries to come down.
Yep, Shelly going to be alive for a very long time, but Lava does make his way in here. Supercharger gets Ruler to safety, and Lava wants to find the ultimate. It will be Ruler going down, but at what cost? As Fly makes his way forward, no Hemo Plague available, and I just don't know why the teleport was used, because there wasn't a lot that they could do about that situation. Ruler dying is a huge problem here for Genji.
Ruler dies at a really crucial time. However, Life and Peanut are here. Another Infernal Drake will be the next spawn as well.
It does defend the turret plates, so
yes.
I do like that from Fly's teleport. Get something back for themselves.
So right now the game will probably progress into a semi-lull state as Bono and Lava coming up here trying to get yet another plate before these things fall off. And the gold score at the top.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a very big one. Gold score at the top. Hanwha Life is almost ahead despite some of the things that have happened. And that can't feel good if you would be Gen G, especially because Hanwha has the Infernal Drake. If they get the next one, that could be really disastrous.
Yeah, and thankfully for Gen G fans, an Infernal Drake is going to be on the menu. So they're going to be wanting to fight later on in this game, and if that had a rolled another Ocean Drake or a Cloud Drake or something like that, then Gen G would be like, oh, well, you know, at the time that we actually want to fight and try and get an advantage, it's not going to be happening here, as the Smite was good, but actually the Rend was very early, so that was practically a 50-50, but look at Life, man. He is so good. Gets the semi-stun of the Lee Sin into the wall. Key almost dies to the Hemo Plague, which would have been great news for Fly, but Ruler's able to get delivered that double kill on the Kai'Sa, so this guy's accelerated. He's almost towards his... Ginsu's Rage Blade already has the Infinity Edge complete, and that first evolution is there, and as you can see, the wave clear, not too much of a problem.
Oh, okay, that was a spectator bug. I was
yeah, that was very confusing.
Yeah, I was starting to get some PTSD, solo queue, Lee Sins.
Yep.
You know, they've had enough of the game, they just started running it.
Don't worry, Fate Score comes in. That's a beautiful kick from Bono, as once again, Ruler is going to be singled out and destroyed. Had no opportunity to ultimate. Didn't even have any targets to ultimate towards either. So he's just going to go down for free yet again. And Hanwha playing around the powerful Kai'Sa so well bottom side.
And Ruler cannot be feeling very good. And it's also a very tilting thing when you know, especially during your death timer, like, oh man, I'm really giving away a lot.
Yeah.
During stuff like this. And so Hanwha Life looking to pick up this bottom tier 1 turret, and this is a very big pickup right now for them.
Yeah, the attempted maneuver there, but the Arctic Assault still gets the knock up onto Bono, so Resonating Strike does nothing, and Gen G lose their turret, but escape with their lives, despite their AD carry falling down. So now Ruler has to be very careful. Moment is able to farm at relative safety on his side of the map, but as this wave moves further out and they want to try and threaten this outer turret, that's going to get more and more difficult as Bono just all too easy. The Supercharger not quite evolved yet, and so no invisibility to save you there, Ruler.
Now Peanut is going to come in here, maybe eat the blue buff for himself, doesn't need to necessarily give the cooldown reduction to Vladimir.
Also wants to get himself to the best position possible, as Bono has an extra assist and an extra kill on top of him. So Peanut grabbing that for himself just to keep himself as relevant as possible. And okay, now Ruler is around with his gang. You know, he's got his Gragas, he's got his Sejuani. And hopefully, they're going to be able to get something here as Fly turns up onto Key, but stand behind me, gets him behind Sangyu. Things are okay.
Teleport is available for Thal on that Sylas. And this is a very important Infernal Dragon for both of the teams. Obviously, Gen.G, they want to even it up. It would be super massive to have it on that Irelia, Vladimir, and Kaisa.
Shout out to Turkey.
There you go.
As Peanut, control wall put down right on his face. As Lava actually has to use the claw in order to get out of the way. So that is going to be a decent cooldown before he's able to claw his way back forward. Hanwha Life, you can see playing around that, getting their vision down, getting their control. Q lands onto Peanut, but that's not the target that they want. Ruler over to the side, clears out the mid-minion wave. Same thing to be happening bottom side of the map, and now priority in the hands of Hanwha. Fly wanting to find the flank, but he's walking over vision. Control ward in the back of the pit means that Gen.G knows exactly what's going on, but this is the problem. If Hanwha are allowed to free hit this Dragon, it's not a 50-50. Rend is available. It's a very early blast going to get back in, but now Fly goes into the Sanguine pool, does have the stopwatch there as well, as it's going to be Gen.G that want to be able to get it. No! Bono comes in, gets the steal, and Hanwha Life get everything. Vanguard's Edge lands onto 4 though, and now Roach trying to take things into his own hands. Life grabs one of the kills. I think the Gragas will be going down, but can Gen.G actually do anything? And the answer is no. Ruler is trying to flash to safety. Supercharger used defensively, and Peanut is now underneath his turret. It's a disaster for Gen.G.
Yeah, this is a really sad turn of events. It almost looked like Gen.G were going to be able to get that Dragon. Fly ate so much aggro away from Hanwha Life and was pulling them all towards the bottom lane. And we're going to take another quick look at that replay in just a second here, but you can't be feeling good about this as Gen.G, as yet another Infernal spawning. So we see this right here, Hanwha Life, they're on the Dragon. Bono uses the Lee Sin kick, but it was all in vain as Peanut's just like, okay, I'm going to come right back over the pit. All of the members of Hanwha Life are busy trying to kill Fly. The Dragon resets, and Bono comes in and manages to steal that right in front of their face.
Yeah, it's a disaster. And this was where I thought that things could possibly come back. But the stun onto Roach means that Hanwha now have a Dragon Pit that's got thralls in it, that's got huge problems for Gen.G. And Peanut and Ruler just not able to get anything done. Ruler needs to fight behind the rest of his team. And the Vladimir didn't even get to use a Hemoplague in that fight.
Yeah,
I mean, he was spending all of his time keeping himself alive.
I mean, what does Gen.G do? Does Lee Sin walks into GameStop and slaps your Dragon's butt?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, at this point in time, you try your very best, try and win a fight. At the moment, they're going to hit him with their heads. Is Peanut's answer. It's not going to actually do anything. This guy's getting away with it.
And 4,000 gold lead almost for Hanwha Life, backed by 2 Infernal Dragons.
And backed by 2-item power spikes on almost everyone. It's only Tal that's missing out there, having lost his top lane matchup. But at this point in time, I feel like it's the Sylas story where it just straight up doesn't matter. Fly, gonna get ulted, and probably just gonna get one-on-one. Okay, needs that health back, does get it just in time, as now he's got a date with this turret, as he doesn't want to give away any assists, as a couple of members were coming down to try and join in on the fun.
And when I begin to see stuff like this, it almost feels as though the player has given up, where we can clearly see that Fly still has his flash available.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be in a position like that. And it's very bizarre to see at this level of play, because you would expect a much higher standard.
Yeah, and a level head, right? But this is a Gen.G that hasn't been having a great time so far. So we talk about the mental game, and yes, in any specific game, it is a problem, right? And we've seen, you know, Kingzone win and then Pawn still tilt in his games. You know, that Talon game, certainly an example of that. But this is an example of a team that hasn't found very many victories so far in the LCK. The only ones of note really are 2 wins against Jin Air.
And I mean, when we start to talk about the potential mental deterioration of a player throughout the course of the game, and we can just take a look at what Peanut was just trying to accomplish right there. He's shadowing an Aurelia that is still ahead of the Sylas, and you have to think Sylas is never actually going to take a trade against the Aurelia. But then on top of that, Roach is just blindly shoving in the wave, so there's anti-synergy.
Yeah.
Peanut ends up just wasting a minute for something that should, in theory, or in hindsight, never really work.
Well, where else does he have to go on the map is the question, and the answer is everything's in shambles. Hanwha have taken both inner and outer bottom side of the map. The outer in the mid lane is also gone. Every dragon that does come up is going to have so much more priority for Hanwha Life just because they have the extra vision of the minions conga lining up. Genji's side of the map, it's just going from bad to worse really, really quickly, and it just looks like Genji have lost any idea of how to get themselves back into this game. It just looks like they're floundering.
Definitely does, as 30 seconds until the next Infernal. And this isn't something that you as Genji can say, you know what, have it. We'll try to fight you at Baron.
Yeah, 3 Infernal Drakes, man. I just don't know whether you can come back from that.
Wow,
especially with this gold disadvantage. Yeah, okay, Peanut tries to start a fight here. They do get a stun onto Key, but look at all of that value to come out of the Unbreakable. Peanut throws his ult defensively now as Tal comes his way forward. His own Vanguard's Edge was actually fantastic in that fight as Peanut takes a long time to die, but can they actually get anything for it? Roach throws out his ultimate, wants to get onto Bono, but just gets cleaned up. Ruler uses his ult, but he's going to use it defensively. He's going to try and get out of dodge as Lava goes into stasis, and now it's all about Fly. Can he get the work down? The answer's no, as Bono follows through, resonating strike, and that is a clean ace, and Hanwha Life moving to the Baron pit.
They're moving straight over to the Baron. This is going to be an extremely easy and quick pickup, and then using the Baron Enhanced Recall, they're going to make their way straight down to the Infernal. We see the fight break out. Peanut trying to take the fight onto Key, but the Unbreakable there onto Braum. It looks like Hanwha Life didn't want to engage immediately, but then Peanut ends up getting knocked around Roach and Ruler, unable to really assist or do too much inside of the fight. And then Fly getting locked up by Key and Songyun over on the right-hand side. Ruler using the QSS, but to no avail. It almost looked like they were going to at least get a consolation prize, managing to bring down the Silas, but not quite. They're saying, let's go Baron, let's go Baron, and then let's eat Drake.
Yeah, nice, and then Baron is what I heard.
Nice.
As Genji are going to move over to the Dragon, but Bono's here, and Bono's really strong. He lands the Q, doesn't follow it there onto Peanuts, not the target that he wants. No stun to come in from Roach, who's found himself locked in this pit. It's exactly where he doesn't want to be. His Tal's got a Hemo Plague. He can dive in on Genji if he wants to, but will they even need it? There it is. There's a very dead Piggy as Gragas is going to follow, and once again, it's going to be Roach against the world. Songyun baits him in about as expertly as you like, and it feels like Genji are done.
Yeah, I never saw a fight that looked so free, actually, in recent times.
Yeah. And we were watching Jin Air play yesterday, so understand that one in context, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, all right, so Hanwha Life now, they're just going to push down the middle lane. And Ruler, I think he might about had enough. He is all the way over up in top lane.
Yep, this is what happens when your smurfing 80 carry just decides that he's not able to solo win this game. He's on the top side of the map, watching everything go down. Tal gets himself a glacial prison because he may as well, and they easily lock down 2 of these inhibitors. Ruler actually did make the right call because they weren't going to be able to defend.
Yeah.
So
they weren't going to be able to defend, and he doesn't need to be there to pick up the excess minion wave. So he makes the most out of the situation, eats the Gromp, goes top, gets the turret, tries to pick up some gold for himself. Taking another quick look, Peanut whips the ultimate, and then Thal just coming right out of the pit says, Roach, I'll get back to you in a second. I have other business to attend to. Ruler flashes away, doesn't really matter. Fly going into his pool, but not going to matter else there as well.
That was the real sadness part, as the Aurelia dives in, only to find that there's a golden Callista there. And 10 stacks on the Magi's, as our gracious observers show us. Lava having a pretty good game so far on 6-0-7 Lissandra. Same to be said for this 3-2-9 Lee Sin, who's been pivotal in navigating this early game so beautifully and controlling every engagement the exact way that Hanwha Life want to make it work. Top lane is going to be the last option here, as now Lava's going to get turned on, knocked back into the team, but look at the amount of stasis options he has. Look at the amount of living that he does in the backline. There are no kills to come forward. That Kingslayer almost keeps the Silas alive, as Ruler does have a fair bit of damage, but over goes Sungyun. Wants to find the kill onto the mid lane, Vladimir, and does so very easily. Roach with a sidestep, dodges 3 skill shots and will keep himself alive there as he gets the stun, but I don't think that they're going to be able to find their way back into this game. Hanwha Life have turned it on its head. The reverse sweep, the 2 wins in a row after the Genji Game 1 slaughter has come in for Hanwha Life Esports. Key does go down, but the Nexus should surely follow as Sungyun's going to get there. He dances around with the martial pose and grabs it. Hanwha Life 2-1 against Genji.
And Hanwha just looked like the better team for sure in game number 3. Game number 2 was very even.
Yeah, that was an example of the
Fiora.
mental game being won by one of the teams and really falling off a cliff for the other. Genji just did not look like their hearts and minds were in it after everything went wrong in that first engagement, LS, and it's a really sad thing to see because we know that man on the forefront of your screen right now, he's an incredibly talented AD carry player. You know, Ruler is so good, and we saw that demonstrated in game number 1. His abilities on the Ezreal were absolutely outstanding. We know his Kai'Sa can get so much done as well, and it's just so hard to see everything fall apart for Genji in our game number 3.
Really tragic here to see the mental fortitude eventually break down, and then in game number 3, it was a few unfortunate events to get the ball rolling, but Ruler getting caught out a little bit too many times early on.
Yeah.
The Infernal Drakes just really helping accelerate the Hanwha Life Esports team composition, just made it so difficult.
Lava fan in the audience there, happy that Tempt didn't come in this time, and extraordinarily happy that they were able to perform that reverse sweep in this best of 3 series. You can see tears in the eyes. Beautiful stuff here from Hanwha, and I have to say, Bono went from being a passenger game 1 in some of the most forgettable Rek'Sai that we've seen to honestly taking the game into his hands twice in a row, games 2 and 3.
You know, I actually think that Lava or Life, or Lava and Life in some of those team fights, I think Lava's definitely the MVP, I think, in my book.
Yeah.
In this last game here.
I could see it going to either Bono or
Life
Lava.
was, yeah. Definitely, Life was one of the shining factors that was trying to hold him back at certain points, but Lava was, I think, really on point. He also got all of the turret plates in mid early on. He created so much pressure. Eventually, at one point in the game, had a 2.5 level lead over his opponent.
Yeah, he honestly just crushed Fly in that mid lane matchup. Not something that we've seen Fly on so far is the Vladimir. So he's going to add that to the pool of champions that just hasn't worked for him and continue looking like this player that has a Lissandra that wins games, right? His Lissandra wins games, 80% win rate at the moment. But when you look down the rest of the squad, I mean, 25% win rate on the Zoe that he was known for playing relatively well last season is just not what you want to see from the guy. Hasn't been able to get things done, and they can't bridge Ruler towards a late-game hyper carry position, even though the Kai'Sa has the 2-item power spike. It's not enough. His Ezreal, he can do it by himself, right? He can get himself to 2 items very easily from the laning phase using the Kleptomancy, but with any other pickup, it just doesn't look like it's going to work. And so just continues to be a bad news story for Genji and Hanwha finally finding themselves back on track, but you're not going to get many points for picking up a win here. They go to +1 after this victory, and they need to catch teams that are sitting at like +6, +7 in order to get themselves into the top 5 for that playoff run.
Yeah, and Hanwha, they did look good in game number 3. Game 1 was a blowout, but a lot of that is attributed to the draft. That was a nightmare situation.
Yeah.
And in game number 2, also very shaky, but their fortitude was stronger than their opponents. Game number 3 is where it really came online, and they definitely showed that overall, they were better in the long haul than Genji. And this is where things were going really bad for Hanwha Life, but then the teleport comes in from Lava. And this was already fine. He's already up 2 plates at that point in time when the teleport had come down. Oh, maybe actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Bono gets the MVP.
I think he does, man.
This game, yeah, he stole away the dragon. He set up the kills on the. He does.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think
a
so
little
too.
bit more. Lava did a really good job on the Lissandra, but yeah, Bono got everything rolling.
He did, and I feel like Lava just did his job, right? Like, did what Lissandra's have been doing the entire LCK long. This hasn't been what all the Lee Sins have been doing. We saw Peanut Passenger the Lee Sin in game number 2, and we saw Bono take control with the Lee Sin in game number 3. He's trying to be exactly where he needed to be, landed the key Qs, and got the key pickaways when it came to the Dragons. So I certainly liked Bono's play, and landed that Q as well, which is what secured that team fight in the end. And this was honestly after the point of no return, or at least that's what it felt like in Gen G's eyes, because they weren't even trying to win this game. At this point, as Ruler has to flash defensively once again, no health bar, no chance. As Hanwha all above 50% until this point, and Sangyun uses it to bait Roach in to a fight that he doesn't want.
Well, that was it. I mean, these aren't really highlights, more so than they are just a massacre at this point.
And as you saw, I mean, that was engaging onto a Lissandra that has Zhonya's Hourglass and Frozen Tomb. And when you pile in on top of her, she self-ults, does damage with it, then can go golden if she wants to, claw her way out if she wants to. So many options as this might change people's minds. 21.3k and such a huge majority of damage being done by the Lissandra. That's a huge deal, of course. That does get skewed when you're in a laning matchup against the Vladimir because he uses his health bar as his resource most of the time. But still, doubling your opponent sounds like a pretty good situation to me. On the side of Hanwha, so great play out of Lava, great to see things from him, and I'd be excited to hear from him in an interview as well, because he hasn't been playing over the last few weeks, so maybe we'll get some answers as to why it's been Tempt favored instead of Lava. Tempt has been great, don't get me wrong. However, when Lava was subbed out, most of us were speechless. We didn't really understand why, because Lava was playing so incredibly well up until that point. Tempt came in, was a great replacement. That's absolutely true. But why was it going to happen? And we are going to get these answers potentially answered. 85% kill participation, 7-1 and 10. He was pretty good.
This was my original first pick for getting the ball rolling. But then I did swap it to the Lee Sin, but yes, the Lissandra performance was very clean. This was Fly doing something that was very unusual. Could have easily have flashed away.
Yeah, but also he got snared before he managed to pull. So he just pulled sitting there on the spot, and he's like, oh wow, I just did 20% of my health bar to myself, and I'm still CC'd. I don't know whether I can actually do anything. So I feel like Fly understood that everything wasn't going to work, but we are going to go over to the interview stage. So Ji-sun, take it away.
보노 선수, 라바 선수
Thank you very
안녕하세요.
much, guys. We're going to be joined by Bruno and Lava from Hana Life
네,
Esports
하나생명이
for this
5위권에
interview.
진입하기 위해서 지켜내기
Well, today
위해서
was the
오늘의 승리가
significant day
정말
to keep the
중요했습니다.
possibility
승리
of
소감 부탁드립니다.
for the playoff and the fifth place. So how was today's victory? It was a very important day for us. So we still see the possibility for the postseason. So
네,
it's
정말
a big relief.
다행이고요. 라바 선수는 정말 오랜만에
Lava,
출전이에요.
it has
딱
been a
거의 한
while.
달 만인데 어떻게
About a month.
지내셨어요?
How have you been?
일단 명구 형이 잘하는 모습 보면서
Seeing Temp playing so well, I was a bit jealous, and I practiced really hard to,
네,
you
이렇게
know, come
오랜만에
back to the stage.
돌아와서 오늘 값진 승리 따냈습니다. 승리 소감 부탁드릴게요.
And how do you feel about today's
이번에
victory?
지면 거의 솔직히 많이 힘들
Well,
정도로
if we lost today,
그랬는데 이겨서 너무
it would have
다행인
been
것
really hard for us,
네,
but
다시
so
한번
it's a
승리
big relief.
축하드립니다. 자, 2세트 얘기 먼저 해보기 전에 1세트 사실
Before
하나는
moving
쉽지
on to game
않았습니다.
2,
네, 감독님께서 피드백을
speaking of
하셨을
game
것
1, there
같은데
was a long
내용
feedback.
궁금해도 될까요?
What was that mainly about?
오늘 지면은 아까 말 그대로 거의
Just like we said,
이제 거의
if
포트
we
시즌 못
lose
간다고
today, you
다들
know,
무방하기 때문에
our
감독님께서
postseason would have been gone.
진짜 마지막이라고
So he was
생각하고
talking about that, you know,
주님을
take it as your
밟아라.
last chance and do your
그런
best.
식으로 말씀해 주셔서 진짜로
I think
최선을
that was
다해서
how, I mean, that was the main reason that we were able to come
네,
back to
팀원들이
game
더
and
뭉치는
perform so well in
계기가
game
됐을
2 and
것
3.
같고요. 또 라바 선수는 정말
And Lava.
힘들었기 때문에 아마 교체에 대한 생각도 했을 것 같아요.
Well, because you
어땠나요?
guys lost first game, you could have thought of
감독님이
temp subbing
저한테
in,
약간
right?
선택권을 주셨는데
Well, actually, the
제가
head coach
한번
gave
더
me
해서 잘하고
the
싶어서
option. but I told him that I want
제가 한
to,
번 더 한다고 말했던
show them performing well for once more. And I was able to keep sitting in the mid lane and also pick up the win in the end.
2세트에서 자크를 막픽으로
Bono,
가져갔는데 그 자크가
Zach
정말
was the
엄청난
last
활약을
pick.
했습니다.
And you
본인이
did prove
어필하셨나요?
yourself as a jungler
여러 가지
performing so
챔피언이
well. Was there your own
자크가
idea?
제가 잘할 수 있을 것 같아서.
Well,
자크
there were a
한번
lot of
잘했어요.
champions available, but I was
자크랑도
having a
함께
bit of a
공략했던
confidence
챔피언이
in Zach, so yeah,
네,
that's why.
자크랑 자르반 두개
We were thinking about Zach or J4. I thought Zach could have been better,
자크
and that's why I
선택이
played them.
정말 좋은 한 방이 됐습니다. 이때
So
바텀에서
speaking of
네.
Zach,
듀오를 배달하는 장면이
there were a
있었는데요.
lot
저희
of
한번 보면서 얘기 나눠볼게요.
highlights over there, so let's go through it together.
자, 이때 삼거리 쪽에 오지 않을까 했는데 이렇게 날라오셨어요.
네.
You were jumping over there, and
네.
great
처음에
engagement.
그냥 와드만
there
체크하려고
was a
살짝
clean
가봤는데
kill.
와드가 없길래 딱 나왔다 싶어서.
Well, I was actually
한번
taking for
볼게 하고
vision,
점프
and
떴는데
there were no wards
좀
there,
늘어난 거죠.
so
야,
I was
그리고
just like,
바텀
let's give it a
듀오가
try, and
힐도
we
안
were
썼단
lucky
말이에요.
to pick that up.
원래는 쓸 거로
pick that-
예상을
pick that.
하셨죠?
아 상대 팀이요?
네, 상대
네,
팀.
그냥 플래시만 빼려고
Well,
했는데.
yeah, we were just
이렇게
trying to
진짜
make them
됐는데.
use their flash, but we
자크의
were
판단,
kind of lucky
그리고
to
갱 각도
take them
정말
down.
좋았습니다. 피오라가 요리과 대치하던 상황
And
그
also,
자리에서
when Fiora
보노가 여기서
and
왜
Yorick
나와?
was 1v1
이런
in the
장면이
side lane,
있었습니다.
you were
그때,
just
상황을 보면서
and
내려오던
you were just
중이었나요?
so
태양
ready
선수
for the
픽이
support
있었나요?
and saying like, I got your
네,
back
혜기가
for the tall.
나 이거 죽은 것 같아 살려줘 해가지고.
Well, actually,
일단
Tall said, I
싸우길래
think I'm dead, save me.
내려갔는데
So I was
다행히
just running to him,
살아가지고 아 이거 잡을 수
and he
있겠다
was
싶어서
able to
자크 먹고
survive.
풀린 것 같아요, 게임.
and also
야,
I got
태양
the
선수도 살고
shutdown
또
kill,
피오라도
so we were
잡아내는
able to
멋진
kind of come back.
장면이었습니다. 자, 그리고 3세트 얘기해 보겠습니다.
네, moving on to
라바
game
선수가
3,
정말
Lava.
1세트의 그 아픔을 완벽하게 씻어냈습니다.
Despite
본인도
the hard
만족스러운
time in game 1,
경기였나요?
you were performing so well in game 3.
3경기는 만족스럽게 했는데 1, 2경기가
Well, I am satisfied with game 3, but
약간
game 1
별로
and 2, I was
막좋진 않긴 해요.
underperforming, so I'm not really that
네,
happy.
알겠습니다. 자, 오늘 보노 선수와 함께 카이사 계속 잡아내는
And with
장면이
you and Bono,
인상적이었어요.
you guys were
일단
keep
바텀에서의
catching out
장면 저희
Kaisa.
함께
So
만나보겠습니다.
let's go through Jim's replay first.
자, 이때 상황 설명 부탁드릴게요.
What's going on?
원래 무빙만 주고 약간 빼려 했는데 계속 바텀 1차
Well, we were just
계속 치고
wanna
있어서
kind of
노플인데
zone them, but they were keep
야,
pushing the
이렇게
bot
부시로 딱
lane turret,
들어가는
so I
것까지
just wanted to go
완벽하게
deep inside and take them
오늘
down.
두 선수가 정말 호흡이 특히나 빛났는데 라바 선수
I
평소에
mean, the
보노
teamwork with
선수와
you and Bono was
많이 친하신
outstanding
편인가요?
today. Are you guys
네,
close friends?
친하죠 저희.
I guess.
네,
Or
많이
we-
친해요, 많이 친해요, 많이 친해요.
I think we are.
네, 보노 선수의 웃음의 의미를 여쭤봐도
Bono,
될까요?
why are you laughing?
좀 더 친해질 수
I
있으면 좋을
think
것
we
같아요.
can be closer, you know.
네,
We
두
can.
분이-
부족한 걸로.
Not enough
네,
yet.
두 분이 더 친해져서 하나생명의 호흡이 더욱더 빛나길 바라겠습니다. 라바 선수 이렇게
And Lava.
경기가 잘 풀리고 나니까 결과적으로 코칭 스태프분들이
Yes,
라바 선수
showing
믿어준
your
게
great
정말 감사할 것
performance.
같아요. 코칭 스태프분들께 한 말씀
To the coaching staff, you wanna maybe thank
대형이
them.
많이
Thank the
부진했는데도
coaching
한
staff
번 더
for trusting you,
믿고
right?
이렇게 경기 나오게 해주신 코칭 스태프분들
Yeah, even though I was
감사하고요.
performing so bad in game 1 and 2,
더 잘해서
thank you for just believing in me and letting me play for the rest of the game. So I'm gonna
네, 그리고
make it up to the coaching staff with
정말
great
오랜만이라
performances.
팬분들께도 인사 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
And any message for the fans?
오랜만에 경기 나와서
Well, I
저도
haven't
많이
played.
놀랐는데 앞으로
in a
이제
while,
경기 자주 나올
so
수
I was a
있도록
bit
해서
nervous, but
팬들한테도
I wanna
좋은
make
모습
sure
많이
to
보여드리겠습니다.
show on
네,
stage a
감사합니다.
little bit
라바
more
선수에게
than now.
큰
So I just
박수
wanna show them
부탁드립니다.
great performance. So
아까
thank you
라바
for all the love
선수가
and
3세트
support.
정말 잘하고 나서 팬분께서 약간
And
눈물을
Lava,
훔치는 장면도 나오기도
Actually, I saw your
했고요.
fan
네,
in tears
정말
after
많이
game 3,
팬분들께서
so
기다렸는데 그만큼 좋은
I
모습을
can say a lot of
보여주셨습니다.
fans are
자,
waiting
이제
for you.
하나생명이 계속해서
and
승리를
Hana Life
이어가야만
Esports.
하겠죠. 네.
Let's keep this victory going, right?
각오 부탁드릴게요.
Any last words? Last
아직
message?
포스트 시즌 진출 가능성 남아
So we
있는
still
걸로
have the
알고
possibility for
남은
the
경기 다
playoffs.
이길 수,
So
이길 수 있도록
I just
노력해서
wanna make
꼭
sure to
진출하도록
win all the
해보겠습니다.
네.
upcoming series
보노 선수의
and make
각오
it to the
들어봤고요.
playoff.
또 라바 선수도 마지막으로
And what about you, Lava?
남은 경기 방심하지 않고 더 열심히 준비해서
I don't want to let our guards
달려보도록
down,
하겠습니다.
and we're going to prepare so
네,
hard to win all of the
하나생명의
series
포스트
coming up.
시즌 진출을 응원하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 인터뷰
This will be the
감사드립니다.
end of the interview with
감사합니다.
Bono and Lava from Hana Life Esports.
네,
and
보노
we'll
선수,
pass it
라바
back
선수
to our
만나봤습니다.
casters.
중계선
Thank you.
연결할게요.
Thank you very much, G-Sun. Great to hear from both Bono and Lava, as their names also spelt relatively similarly with the arrangement of letters. So I like that one as well. But their next matchup is going to be against Jin Air Green Wings. So likely going to be able to play with some confidence that they built up in the last 2 games of this series, try and take that one down, and then things get more difficult from that point on for Hanwha Life, who, as we just illustrated, still have a chance to get towards those playoffs.
And coming up later tonight, after the short break, we actually have a really exciting match.
Yeah, we got a barn burner, as we like to say. as Kingzone are going to be taking on SKT.
Isn't it just T1 now?
Oh, yeah. Well, T1
yeah.
theoretically.
Kingzone is going to try to take on Tyler 1.
I believe we still have SKT in the nameplates until the end of the season.
Okay, and then they
swap. You can't change the name mid-season, but we will officially have that swap to come in. I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's what Papa said last time.
They
SKT
upgrade
played.
to Alpha.
Yes.
At the end of the season.
Yeah. So we go into the summer split where all the real options happen, and that's when life is good. But as you can see, SKT is still going to be what we're going to be looking at as far as the acronym of choice at the moment. And as you can see, +1 now for Hanwha Life Esports as they're moving up towards the positives of the western side.
It was a really close game for both parties. If SK Telecom lose, and it's 0-2, Kingzone moves up to 8-4. SKT is 8-4, but Kingzone has the better point.
Exactly. So it comes down to how both of these teams win this next series. So this is absolutely huge. Kingzone versus SKT will be coming up in about 30 minutes, guys. So make sure you set your watches for just a little bit of time because it's going to be a huge matchup as Kingzone and SKT both have so much on the line. The bottom lane matchup is so exciting. There is so much to talk about. We'll have to get to it right after the break.